All right, perps. What do you say we go live for a little bit? Give it a minute, see who shows. I'm not so damn sure that my channels get sent out like it should, but we'll see. We're gonna have I wouldn't say a little shit actually. It is definitely going to be annoying. G23, what is up, my brother? How are you? We're gonna run through some stuff. I'm gonna open this up later, more than likely, like normal. But we definitely got to talk about some Alabama sheriffs because they give exactly zero fucks about your rights or your Second Amendment rights, and they miss the money they get from permits. So we's gonna talk about it. G23, you doing all right today, brother? I know we saw it the other night. Got surgery on my wrist. Dude, they cut me about there to there, somewhere around there. They definitely rooted around in there a lot more than they thought they were going to, or more than they said they were going to. So we shall see. Matter of fact, let me do something while we're sitting here. Let's actually got to do two things actually. Why? Because Coops' computer had a absolute stroke. Before I or right after I started this stream, buying the third firearm this month. Good deal, brother. Hey, Lawfully Arn, what's up? Dang old Matt, my brother, how's it going? Now we're getting some people built up in here. Now we're getting some people. Tell you what, let me see. I'm still going to do something here because I pretty much am 100% sure YouTube really don't like my channel. So we're going to wing it. Like I said, we're going to go for a little bit because I want to get through this. Then I'll open up the chat and we'll just screw off after that and have a little bit of fun. It's so we're going to go over it. There's a few people in the legislature in Alabama that want to repeal our constitutional carry. And a bunch of sheriffs have been on board with repealing this from the start. They were completely against it even getting passed. So we're going to look at one of those sheriffs. I just saw this interview last night. And we're going to watch it. This is on a guy's channel. I've never heard of this cat. I don't know how new or old he is. I didn't look into that. But he's doing an interview with one of the sheriffs in Alabama. And, well, they go over just how much this sheriff really doesn't respect your rights. DJ Play Nice, my brother. How are you? And Mike McClune, the goon, my brother, slipping in. So we're going to look at this because it's awfully damned annoying to see people that are supposed to be elected, supposed to, no matter what, uphold and defend the Constitution and our rights. And he really, you'll get the feel from this cat where he's at. Let me see. We'll look at where are we going to go first. Well, I tell you what, we'll go to this Republican first. Screen share. It should be this one. Because this is one of the Republicans in Alabama who wants to submit a bill that would get us back to having to have permits to be able to carry. They're trying to blame the rise on crime or the rise in crime on constitutional carry for the last 2 years, even though really what's driving that crime, as always, is drugs and gangs. Has nothing to do with mostly law-abiding citizens carrying firearms. And it is very much annoying to watch these people. Now, I haven't watched this clip yet. We're going to get into some others that I have watched, but let's see what old buddy's got to say here.
Concerns over gun violence obviously continue to grow in our community, and now one Alabama lawmaker is introducing legislation he hopes will help. The bill would return some teeth to Alabama's existing gun laws. You may remember that in 2022, state lawmakers made Alabama's concealed carry law less stringent. It said that anyone over 19 can carry concealed handguns without...
Yes. Anyone over 19 who is not restricted from owning firearms in the first place can conceal carry in Alabama without having to go to the sheriff's office, get a background check, and get a license. Alabama has always had open carry, or has had open carry for a long time, where you could carry a gun on your hip or on your back without having to have a license. But nowhere in the history of criminal activity has one of these gangbangers went to leave their house with their gun and then stopped at the door and said, shit, I don't have a permit. I better leave this at home. You probably don't have to have a permit to marry your cousin lawfully. That's a good question. I'll have to look into it. Chris from the 740, what's up, my brother?
Without a permit, without a background check, and without any training. Now, one Montgomery lawmaker, a Republican, says looking back, that was, quote, a bad bill. So Representative Reed Ingram has filed new legislation that instead would require someone to be 21 to conceal carry. They would also have to pass a hunter safety.
Now, he filed this at the ass end of 2024. It is supposed to be reintroduced for the 2025 session that we're in now, but I haven't seen it yet. And I normally check pre-submitted bills and stuff about every 2 weeks. Been about 2 or 3 days since I've checked it. There's still only 10 bills there that I can see having to do with firearms, and none of them are this
safety course or get a permit from the sheriff's office. And Ingram says if police encounter someone with a concealed handgun, that person would have to have a valid form of ID to prove they can legally have that gun.
In some instances now, you get pull over somebody and they're a passenger in the car and they have no ID. They're saying, hey, I'm 18 years old, and they may not be. You know, a lot of the kids look older.
Okay, now, oh God, watching this is painful. But when the government stops you for any reason, it is up to the government to prove that there's a crime or there's some sort of violation going on. It's not for you to have to prove your innocence one way or the other. That's on the government.
Now, and so this bill will take it to where if you don't have an ID, the law enforcement to have the option to take the gun and hold it until they come in and show their ID.
Representative Ingram says the bill would also allow officers to check to see if that gun is stolen. It has not been filed yet, and because there are only 5 working days left in the legislative session, it is unlikely to pass this year.
Now, again, he was supposed to submit that at the ass end of the 2024 session. We're going into the 25 session. I'm hearing about that bill being submitted again. I haven't seen it yet. I'm hoping there are enough legislators in the Alabama legislature that have balls enough to say, no, this is done. It's not even going anywhere. Don't even bother filing. But Let's move over here. So this guy, props to his channel. I don't know how old his channel is. I didn't look at it. This video is from 2 weeks ago. I'm not familiar with this guy's channel. I haven't went and checked into it yet. And I may go look at it just to see what this guy's up to. I mean, I ain't throwing any shade at this guy. But the interview with this sheriff is very telling about where sheriffs are at on constitutional carry and the fact that they want it repealed. But it's not for, when you get down to the brass tacks of it, it's not for public safety. It's not for officer safety. It's because they're missing out on money. And that was the biggest argument that we heard from sheriffs when constitutional carry was being debated, is it was really cutting into their revenue stream for all their goodies like NP5s and everything else. Hold on. Let me back this up. You know, Coop, I ain't all that bright. Now, crime overall in the United States is actually down a little bit right now as far as firearms. Crime in certain areas with firearms has gone up. That's a nationwide trend. You know exactly where these areas are. They know exactly who's committing the crimes, the neighborhoods, the streets. It is not because constitutional carry. Dude, the NRA is useless as tits on a boar hog. What got this legislation through was the people of Alabama overwhelmingly wanted it. The fucking NRA boogeyman shit, man, go somewhere else with that. This is an elected sheriff, and he sounds like he's talking from the fucking Brady guys. It's maddening to me. Hold on. I might have had an aneurysm because we hear this constantly from people. I'm all for the Second Amendment. I'm a hunter myself. The Second Amendment has exactly dick to do with the Second Amendment. It's nothing to do with hunting. And I just skimmed through this the other night. You are going to hear later on some of the biggest FUD lore out there. Yes. What changed with the availability of guns since constitutional carry started? FFLs haven't changed. Personal purchases haven't changed. The gun market is the same as the way it was. The amount of guns on the street have nothing to do with constitutional carry. Like I said, this guy needs a job at fucking Brady or Giffords. No sound. Coop, we ain't hearing shit. Hold on. I'm not hearing shit. Well, hold on. Let me do something. Let me restart this. Because if you guys aren't, I just saw the chat. If you guys aren't hearing this, let me restart this. Yeah, I see. I tried to switch it over. Screen share audio is on now. We should have audio. Let me back up just a little bit. And I'll let this play until this point, and I'll shut my fucking trap.
And I don't like to go by stats.
Right.
And the reason why stats tell a true number, that's true. But one reason I don't like to go by stats. Say if you lived here 30 years, you never had a burglary, and I say burglaries are down, and your house was just burglarized. Guess what? Stats are down for you. Burglaries aren't down.
They're up for us.
But it's a no-brainer. Yeah, crime's up. With the gun violence, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, is that a contributing factor? Sure, it is. I think it is. I would be fair to say that 90% of the sheriffs think it is. We fought that legislation for 10, 12 years. They've tried every year to push it through the House. They being the Republicans over in the House and the Senate and stuff, and they tried to pass that law. And the contributing factor that I personally think that this law got passed. It was election time over in the legislature.
Right.
And the NRA came in here and we couldn't stop it. We being the Sheriff's Association couldn't stop it. It's not good. Now I'm all for the Second Amendment. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I'm a hunter myself. But some of these guns are on the street, your AR-15s, your SKSs and AK-47s and all that. That's a gun of war. That don't need to be on the street. I'm not saying you shouldn't own one. You can have it in your house for protection or what have you. But we have all these powerful guns on the street that don't need to be there. But as far as crime goes, it's definitely a contributing factor. Not that necessarily. A lot of people say, well, the bad guys never get the permit anyway. That's true. That's true. They're not going to come and get a permit. But their guns are so readily accessible now. Everybody has a gun now. Everybody has a gun. And if you didn't get a permit, you may have stopped that person from buying a gun, or not stop him, or he didn't want to purchase a gun because he didn't want a permit or what have you. So if you have an 18-year-old kid, or even 14 or 15, we see them at that age getting, we're charging families now. We're charging parents for the reckless having guns, not securing their residence and so forth. The child gets it, goes out and shoots someone. You can be held liable for that. So, the guns are easier to get now, so to speak. When I say easier to get, you can get a gun. You still have to go through the same checks and everything. And a lot of people,
if you get it legally.
That's right. And a lot.
Okay. Let that play to where I quit last time. And like I said, when I didn't realize you guys couldn't hear the shit, now we're 5 by 5, right? Constitutional carry had nothing to do with the availability of firearms. Exactly nothing. And this guy talking about if you do it legal, you get your back. Person-to-person sales in Alabama are completely legal. So they haven't made a factual statement yet in this damn interview.
A lot of people misconstrued the open carry law. It's not for anybody. It's still.
Hold on. This is where this dude starts confusing constitutional carry with open carry. And just to warn you guys, when they are talking about open carry right here, they're completely conflating open carry and constitutional carry.
Still got restrictions. If you're a felon, you still can't carry that gun.
Right.
It doesn't matter. A lot of people misconstrued that. We've even made some arrests. Well, open carry's out. I thought we could carry a gun. No, you're a convicted felon. You can't have a gun. Period. And a lot of people misconstrued that law also. You can't even be in somebody's house that has a gun. You can't even have a gun in your house if you're a convicted felon, much less carry one. But crime has spiked as far as open carry goes. Gun violence has spiked. I mean, look at Birmingham this past year. What, I think 151 murders. All time high. Was that a contributing factor? You know, it's kind of like a speeding ticket. You don't know. You know, everybody says, "Oh, it's a ticket. You gave me a ticket. You gave me a ticket." But it's one of those unheard stats or unforeseen stats that you really can't say that if I didn't give you that ticket, we may have vehicle homicide 5 miles from you. You're running 90 miles per hour in a 35-mile-an-hour speed zone. Most people look at it, oh, I got a ticket. I got a ticket. No, we look at it as we just saved a life down the road because you don't never know. So, you know, and one thing about it that's sad about the whole situation is the legislative, they're people, they put their pants on just like we do. The legislature does. And they're not going to rebut that law. It's just my opinion now. We're talking about opinion. They don't want to admit they're wrong. And I've talked to several of them that we made a mistake. We have made a mistake. We have made a mistake. But the ego is not going to let them go back. Do what's wrong.
I wish Alabama had their legislature had their channel up on YouTube when they were debating all this like they do now. Back then, you had to go to Alabama's legislature page, had to go find the session, bounce through a couple hoops, and then you could watch. I watched the debate, or debates over constitutional carry. I heard these idiots get up there and say there was going to be blood in the street, judges were going to be killed, the world was going to end, cats were going to start sleeping with dogs, all this shit, and it hasn't happened. The rises in crime are in the areas that had high crime, and you've had an absolute injection of illegal drugs like fentanyl, and the gang violence has skyrocketed because gangs are gonna gang. It's the conflation they run through right here to try to jump through the mental hoops and get to the emotional points they're making. I would really love to do interviews with a couple of sheriffs, kind of like this dude's doing, sit down, talk about it, but really press them on the issues.
Right? Rebut that law, and I'm speaking from a law enforcement side of it. And like I said, I'm all for the Second Amendment, but they're not going to sit up there and say we made a mistake and recuse our law. They're not going to do it. And there's no bills in legislators pre-filed. Now's the time to start pre-filing stuff, and there's nothing that's been pre-filed to rebut the law. And it's been quiet. It's been quiet. So, you know, and I'm proud to say that our legislators and our Senate, they were strictly against it. Mr. Chestnut and Mr. Stewart, they were strictly against this law, and which they should have been. They should have been, because it's not safe. It's not safe. You don't want to have your 16-year-old girl, you know, stopping at the local 7-Eleven to try to get some gas, and, you know, somebody's over there with a gun on their side. You don't know what's going to happen. I mean,
Oscar Mike, what's up, brother? So, the mere presence of a gun in a situation, getting gas, doesn't mean a damn thing. I have not renewed my permit since constitutional carry started. The only reason I would renew my permit is if I've got to go to other states, and then they'll honor an Alabama permit. And some states won't honor an Alabama permit. But someone, and I see it all the time, people open carrying, people where you can see that they're carrying. I watch people's waist and shit religiously. That person having a gun, as long as they're not pulling it and shooting at every goddamn buddy, that gun's not doing a damn thing. It's an inanimate object. You want to know the thing that's going to drop crime in Alabama? Take the people committing the crimes and put them in fucking prison and keep them there.
It just don't make sense. And then you got some people that want to abuse it. You got some people that want to put an AR-15, you know, Pettis Bridge. People come from all over the world to see Pettis Bridge.
No, Oscar. Dude, shoot something out in the chat for it, and we'll see whether we can kick it up. Because, yeah, I haven't heard about old Pigster.
We'll have some people just walk across Pettis Bridge with AR-15 on their back. Yeah. I mean, what do the citizens think of that? You know, they come into Selma, they think it's the Wild Wild West.
Well, and I mean, you obviously you are a staunch supporter of the Second Amendment. You've said that over and over again.
Merely saying you are a staunch supporter of the Second Amendment and you think people ought to have to jump through government hoops and get permission from the government to carry their firearms, you are not a strong supporter of the Second Amendment. You are a supporter of the government. Period.
Not a supporter of open carry, but what's the difference? Why would it be better to get a permit than to have an open carry? What and especially with the idea that
seeing accountability. What's in
criminals
it?
aren't
You're
going
new
to worry
tactic
about
here.
doing it the right way anyway. So how is it that it?
And as to who gives a fuck what these two people think, one of them is a sheriff. Two, they're voicing what a lot of different lawmakers think, which, if they had their way, they would absolutely repeal constitutional carry. Nothing but control. Yeah, it's all about control. Well, for them, it's all about the money and the control. So they have a second little vice here.
It would help to not have open carry.
It would help, number one, not having guns readily available.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have to have a permit, you're more apt just to go buy a gun because you don't have to go through the process to get a permit. Used to years ago, you had to register every gun.
Right.
You no longer have to do that. That permit.
Dude, we've never, that I know of, had to register every gun we get in Alabama. Even when I went and got my permit in Alabama in 1920, whenever it was, I didn't have to register a firearm with them to get my permit. I walked in, I can't remember whether, I don't think they did fingerprints. They might have done fingerprints. They run a background check. In a couple minutes, I got my permit, $25 a year, however, $50 a year, whatever it was. I never had to register shit.
Permit would cover every one of your guns. You don't have to register the gun. But the permit, and I'm not afraid to say it, a lot of people won't say this, especially law enforcement, it's a database for law enforcement. It gives us another tool to use to identify someone. If, say, for instance, if you get beat up going down the street and you have a picture of somebody, you don't know their name, and you don't have their address, so you got to have all that to sign a warrant. That's a database that we could use to find that information. And that's one of the big negatives that the public sees about this permit. They think that we're being the big brother, so to speak. It's a database. But the biggest advantage for you to get a permit or a civilian to get a permit is you have to have them in other states. If you travel, you have to have that permit, like Florida, Georgia, Tennessee.
Yeah. You are right there, G. The 4473s are a de facto registry. Absolutely. Make it a crime, don't report guns stolen in 2 days. We're going to have to take a look at that one, Oscar. We might do that today after this.
See, and you got to find out, and there's a sheet that comes out. We have it readily available for people at the front desk. If you travel, they will accept our permit. Now, if you get caught with it, you're going to be charged if you don't have that permit.
Right.
So if you travel, across state lines, especially in the Southeast, a lot of them are still making you buy permits. If you don't have that permit, you can be charged, and they accept our permit. But it's just, it's a comfort thing to law enforcement too. Like, for instance, if we do a traffic stop, we say driver's license, your ID, ma'am, and hand us the permit at the time. Hey, I got a gun in the car. It de-escalates the whole situation.
Right.
And a lot of times, some of these shootings could be prevented. When I say, cop, civilian, or what have you, some of these shootings could be prevented. Because a lot of times they'll say, oh, I got a gun in the car, and they reach for it. Don't do that.
Right.
Don't do that. Just tell us where it's at. And if we ask you to step out of the car, or we're going to go around and say, do you mind if we...
Okay. So let's hit this little bit of an issue right here. Say I get pulled over for speeding. I hand the officer my license. Okay, we're going to do this whole ticket thing. There's no reason for him to even think. He should know 100% every single car he runs into, there's a gun in it. That shouldn't even be an issue. Hey, keep your hands where I can see him. Okay, fine. We're going to do this ticket thing. I'm going to kick you off and just let you go on your way. If I'm a cop, and God knows I wouldn't be one because I will not enforce unconstitutional shit. Everybody I stop, I'm going to assume is armed. I'm going to be polite. I'm going to be professional. We're going to get through this shit, and I'm going to let them go on their merry way as soon as I can, and I'm going to get my little happy ass on down the road. Yeah, you're right, Tennessee, or T, and hopefully that's Tennessee. Everybody has to assess their own risk and what they are willing to get into. I'm willing to get into a bit more than others some days. Apparently, you are too. But everybody's got to make that assessment. Ron Gunn, what's up, brother? I can't remember whether I said hi to you or not.
Retrieve it and just separate you from the gun. It's not illegal to have it.
Yeah. Or you have a gun in the car.
That's
Well,
right.
Show me your permit. Here it is.
That's
Okay,
right.
that's cool.
And when the officer asks you for your driver's license, just let them know at the time. Hand them the permit at the time. And it just lets them know that you're a law-abiding citizen.
Right.
You're trying to be, even though it's not the law, that you're trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And it de-escalates the whole situation. It calms the nerves of that officer.
Now, in Alabama, if an officer asks you if you have a firearm in the vehicle, you are required to tell them whether or not you do. If they don't ask about the firearm, you're not required to tell them shit. And I am of the opinion that I'm not telling them shit. We'll do the ticket thing. Let me go my way, you go your way, and we can all have a real happy day. And now, if an officer asks me whether I have a firearm, of course, I'm going to tell them, yes, I have a firearm. When they ask me where it's at, tell them where it's at, right side appendix. Now, hopefully, I don't end up with an officer who pulls me out of the vehicle and then tries to disarm me and shoots me in the fucking leg with my own gun. Because that's how that stupid shit happens.
That's one of the most dangerous things a law enforcement officer can do is pull a car over. His nerves are already there. Right. I mean, the tensions are already high. Even though he's done it, 100 times in the last, 30 days. I mean, you still that unknown.
That one time. That one time could be bad.
Yeah, and if you have a permit and there's a gun in the car, show him the permit first, and that lets him know that that you're a law-abiding citizen, you're trying to do the right thing, and it calms everything down.
And if there is no permit, then that whole
it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, and a lot of people didn't understand too when there was a permit required. If you put it in your car, it was considered concealed. No matter and it could be on the seat and it was concealed. It didn't have to be in a glove box because your car has a roof on it and it's concealed inside that area. So, I see less.
Think about exactly how ridiculous that shit is. If it's in your car, if it's on your dashboard, it's concealed. The fuck? First of all, the car in the state of Alabama, I believe, I'll have to go look at it, is an extension of your home. I'm allowed to have a gun in my car or my home. I should be allowed to have a gun in my car. And law enforcement shouldn't have a fucking say so whether I do or not. All right, unless they can prove or they have reasonable suspicion that I am a felon and I am someone who can't own firearms, that firearm shouldn't even be in their purview. Let's do the ticket thing. Let's get down the road. You can do your thing. Let me do mine. Yeah, Ron Gun, it's kind of different for a lot of states. In some states, immediately when you have an interaction with an officer, you have a duty to inform that says, hey, I have a firearm. In some states, it pretty much now, like in Alabama, unless the officer asks about it, I ain't got to tell him shit. And unless the officer asks about it, I am not telling them shit.
Less arrest. When I say with the gun, because most of our arrests now with gun charges, of course, after the crime has been committed, or felony in possession or something like that. And I think that it's been out long enough.
Well, that's technically when law enforcement is supposed to arrest people is after they have committed a crime, because before they have committed a crime, they're not criminals. Holy.
Enough to know now that the people will realize that just because it's
I'd have to look into it.
There's still some restrictions. You can't carry that gun into a federal building. You can't carry it into a courthouse, a school. All those restrictions are still in place.
Right.
And people, I thought at first we were seeing an uptake in an arrest on some of those things. They were going to certain places they weren't supposed to go. Or a felon would have it. Because when they heard open carry, hey, it's free for all.
Right.
That's
yeah.
not true.
Thought it was
and that was just a misconception. People didn't inform. And we as sheriffs, and particularly me, I'm not afraid to say it, I didn't educate people on it. which I should have. You know, we did some stories and stuff, but we left out the part of the certain persons that are forbidden. You're still forbidden if you don't have gun rights. You can't carry a gun, period. Can't be around a gun, period. So,
and then that would be felons.
Felons, I mean, no, the main reason why you can't.
Okay, let's hit this real fast because it comes up a lot. Even if you were a felon, if you are on the street, you served your time. If you were on the street, you should have your Second Amendment rights and be able to carry whatever the hell you want to carry. Period. If you are safe enough to be on the streets, you should have all of your rights intact. 2014, last time, speeding 81 and 65. Yeah, I've been busting about like that, but it's been, oh shit, man, it was way early 2000s. Last time I got popped for anything was a seatbelt ticket, and like, it had to have been like 2010, right in that area. Matter of fact, funny enough, I was still trying to get my rights back at the time, so I wasn't carrying.
Why you can't have one of these, you're a convicted felon.
Right.
Convicted felon. And another thing people don't understand, when they go get pardons, a lot of times when they get their pardon, we'll charge them with the gun. And they'll say, oh, I got my rights. I've been pardoned. And we look at their paperwork, and their pardon only says voting rights back. It don't say gun rights back.
Okay.
So that is huge to make sure your voting rights are restored and your gun rights are restored at the same time. A lot of times they don't do that.
And they just assume that
they assume,
right?
Yeah, because
so they need to double check that.
That's right. They need to be pardoned.
And permits are still available, even though so you can still go by and come up here to the sheriff's office.
Right, they are, and you know, and the state realizes that. And a lot of people say all the sheriff's offices were just using it for financial gain. That's true. I'm not exaggerating.
Right.
I mean, we needed that money. I mean, to supplement. If, say, for instance, we were selling permits, the county commission don't have to give us more money in our budget, so to speak. They could maybe pave a road or something with that money. So the state saw that, and now the state has started reimbursing some of the sheriffs.
Come up here to the sheriff's office.
Right, they are.
So he flat out, hold on, I got to turn my camera on for this, and we got to do this. He flat out admits that the reason the sheriffs wanted the permit is for the permitting fees. He flat out fucking admits it. Tyrant's gonna tyrant. For sure. Did I back? And we'll see whether I backed it far enough, because we're gonna hear that again.
And you know, and the state realizes that. And a lot of people say all the sheriff's offices were just using it for financial gain. That's true. I'm not exaggerating.
Right.
I mean,
I need that on a loop. I got to clip that and just throw it on a loop, because that's what it was about.
We needed that money. I mean, to supplement. If, say, for instance, we were selling permits, the county commission don't have to give us more money in our budget, so to speak. They can maybe pave a road or something with that money they're getting.
Now, another fun fact. He talked about selling permits right there. There were, in fact, sheriffs who got caught selling permits, and that is the reason you can't use an Alabama concealed carry license for your background check like you can in a lot of states, because they got popped selling permits to felons. Phil, what's up, brother man? How are you?
Right. Yeah. So the state saw that, and now the state has started reimbursing some of the sheriffs and the sheriffs for the lack of income they received from pistol permits. So that's helped a lot. Now it's nowhere near the amount that we were getting.
Right.
But and the sheriff don't have a discretion of what he can use that pistol permit for. I mean, there's certain things he can use that pistol permit for. You can't just go out and spend money like, you know, a drunken sailor.
Yeah.
You have to use it for certain things. And that was a misconception that the sheriffs would, you know, go and gambling or doing this or doing that, all kinds of crazy stuff. But that money's earmarked. And I just went through it all. So I mean, they checked the permit, and the canteen at the jail. When I say canteen, with the store items they buy, that's one of the most scrutinized parts of your audit you go through. And I'm proud to say we had 0 gigs on ours.
So here's another handy dandy factoid for the crowd, and I'll have to go find the story. There was an Alabama sheriffs are over like the jails and all that, right? anytime that they had excess funds, that sheriff could then use those funds for whatever they wanted. And you had sheriffs who were managing these jails and fucking just about starving people and poisoning them with bad food so that they could keep the overrun on the cash. Back to blue no matter who, right? Mike McClune, my brother, have a good night at work. Stay safe, keep all the digits, follow the golden rule, don't put your hands anywhere you wouldn't put your pecker. It's a good rule to live by.
Hours. We have 0 gigs. And it's just important to if you do have a gun, I mean, learn how to secure that gun, because now we're seeing these children getting these guns. They're taking them to school. We've had that here in Dallas County. We've had guns in our schools in Dallas County.
And they think it's okay because of open permit.
And they, of course, they were trying to hide them.
Yeah.
Of course they were, but it was unsecured.
Again, how does a minor bringing a gun to school have jack shit to do with constitutional carry? How? I mean, where does that fit in this equation? The answer is fucking doesn't. All right. Back to the grind, kids.
Unsecured gun from the house. And if that kid was to do something in that school with that gun, the parents are going to be charged just as long as the kid. You see it on the news every day.
Yeah.
And I just wish the parents would understand how serious that gun is. I don't care if you take your son hunting or your daughter hunting, 3 or 4 times a week. They're not supposed to have a gun. You got to have that. You got to be 19 years old to be open carry. It's that simple.
And another distinction is open carry the same thing as concealing it, even though you don't have a permit.
Yes, I mean, as far as the law looks at it, it is. But and I don't understand why somebody would want to open carry it. It don't make sense to me.
It doesn't make sense.
Because, say for instance, if you want to use it for your protection, and you're sitting at a restaurant and you're sitting there with the gun on your side, or even walking to the store, somebody comes in and robs the store, and they see you with a gun. Guess what? You
Blue Curtain Burner, what is up, my brother? And yeah, they could. They really could. They could actually say that if the state wants to have permits, that the state would have to pay for the cost of those permits. Because if not, what are they doing? It's no different than a fucking poll tax.
But you're gonna be the first one they take out. So why not hide that gun?
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of us men, they have the little man syndrome and they want to carry this big 44 Magnum.
This part pisses me off to no end. Especially knowing that, hell, my wife open carries her gun. I don't think she's got little man syndrome. She's kind of like a chihuahua. She'll chew your face off. But this dude right here, this sheriff, is the one with little man fucking syndrome.
Magnum on their heel, and they think it makes them a man. I mean, they do.
You don't like my 44?
Yeah, you don't like my 44 Magnum. I mean, they think it's a man. They got little man syndrome or inferiority complex of some sort. And, they got every right to carry it. I mean, the law says you can open carry it or what have you. But if you really want to protect yourself and your family, keep it concealed. Keep that gun concealed.
I have a 44, but I got it because it was a very good price.
And I'm going to tell you, too, a lot of businesses, if you go to a business and you see the little Ghostbuster sign with the little thing on, and it says no gun, you cannot go in that store with a gun. If it's privately.
Yes, Sheriff, you can go in the store with your gun. Then the people from the store have to ask you to leave. Then if you don't leave, it's a trespass charge. Those little gun-free zone signs, I got one hanging behind me. I cut it as a fucking joke. Mean exactly nothing to actual criminals. Why the hell should I obey them? Yeah, but Curtin, the number of people that would get a permit if it was free would skyrocket.
privately owned. You cannot go in that store. You have a right to keep people out of your store with that gun.
Mm-hmm.
But the law states that the employees there have to approach you first. We don't recommend that. Because, I mean, say, for instance, if you had a little boutique, a little clothing store for women, a lot of your high school kids work at these type stores.
Sure.
I don't recommend a high school kid going. And approaching that person with a gun saying, hey, you can't come in here with this gun.
Right.
Because there's going to be a confrontation most of the time.
Yeah.
That's what the law says. You have to confront them first. But I would ask you to call 911, get a law enforcement officer there, and then we'll confront them together. And then if they don't leave, then we can do something with them. But we got to give them a chance to leave first. If you don't leave, then we can do something.
And that goes back to it. They have it concealed and nobody knows it's even there.
Exactly.
You know, even though they're not supposed to have it there. But if you got it,
if the gun is concealed and no one knows about it, how is the gun an issue? I promise you, I have ignored plenty of gun-free zone signs because criminals are going to. So why the hell should I respect them? Much like the kid in the mall who stopped a mass shooter. He ignored the gun-free zone signs. He was carrying concealed. Had no thoughts of harming anybody else in that store. He was never the issue. The one that came out of the bathroom with an assembled AR and went to shoot people that he ended up capping and stopping from mass murdering people, that dude was the issue. Oscar Mike, you more than likely are on point.
Nobody's going to know.
Nobody's going to know.
I just don't understand why you want to carry it open. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Unless you just want to prove that you got a Second Amendment right. I mean, I don't understand.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with that. If some people want to do it, I just don't understand it myself.
I don't understand it.
That's neither here nor there.
I think it's a little man syndrome. I think it's inferiority complex. I really do. I don't know.
I'm gonna have to tell my wife if she's not in the, lurking in the chat, that she has little man syndrome. See how that goes. If I get punched in the face, I'm blaming it on the sheriff.
But I mean, I've got guns. I mean, several
Fire
guns.
order. What's up, brother?
When I'm off work, I'm not gonna carry mine on my hip. I mean, I'm just not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it.
Coming in with the gentleman.
I mean, you're the target. If something was to happen, you're the target. Yeah, you want it ready, accessible in case you need it. But I mean, there's all kinds of shirts you can buy. You can buy a shoulder holster. You can buy anything. You don't have to shoulder give everybody that you got a gun.
Well, you talk about you can still get permits. What do you do to get one, and how much do they cost?
We haven't gone up on permits. It depends on what county you're in, but in Dallas County, some are higher. I mean, we only charge $20.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't charge. When I say $20, it's $20 a year.
Right.
And we give you up to a 5-year permit, which will be $100.
Mm-hmm.
We're actually working on our computer system now to do a lifetime.
Brother Fire Order, how you doing?
And we're trying to figure out, the age limit. I don't like the lifetime hunting license. If you're 80 years old and go buy a lifetime hunting license, you're not gonna get the bang for your buck. I don't like that. I don't like that. So I would like to see it divided up a little bit. At certain ages, a lifetime costs you this at this age, that at that age.
I see what you're saying.
But we're trying to work through that now. But you can buy it up to 5 years, which will be $100.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a simple process. It's an application. You come up to the sheriff's office, or you can get it downstairs. You don't have.
I think that's what I did when I bought me and my wife's permits. I think I did a 5, or did I do a 3-year? I can't remember. I think we might have done 3 years. But either way, for both boats, it's like we ended up being, I don't know, $200 or so, some shit like that. But still, the rub there is, why should I have to request permission and pay for it from the government, from the state, for me to exercise something that is my right?
You don't have to come all the way up. Since you walk through the door, the guard at the door can present you one. You fill that form out, bring it up to the sheriff's office. A lot of people think the sheriff okays the pistol permit. We do okay it, but we have to send that off to do a check. Mm-hmm. And then they send us the criminal history back and stuff. We interpret that criminal history and let the people know if they can get it or not. And then you get it. It takes 1 week. That's all it takes. You fill out on a Monday, you can come back the following Monday.
No. It might be different in Dallas County. Me and my wife walked in, submitted our paperwork, did our background checks, and we were in and out of there in probably 30 minutes, something like that, with our permits on hard cards, printed out, done. So it might be a little different in Dallas County, which is kind of screwy that all these counties can do whatever the fuck they want with these permits.
Monday, and you can check it and see if you get your permit or not.
Fantastic. I guess you would recommend people do that.
Yes, I would recommend a permit. And I will tell you this. I mean, if you support law enforcement, what's $20 a year?
Right.
I mean, what's $20 a year? And I'm looking at
that. If you support law enforcement, what's $20 a year? First of all, I am done supporting law enforcement who actually enforces unconstitutional laws. So there is that.
looking at it from the money part. I am. I mean, a lot of sheriffs won't tell you that.
That's part of your job.
It is what it is. I mean, I got to finance my department and I got to look out for my county. So if I'm able to contribute to my budget and the county's not have to, they can spend that money somewhere else.
Right.
They can put a park for a kid. They making,
Help
fix
finish
potholes.
the jail.
Yeah, finish the jail or what have you. So, it's a good thing to have.
Yeah.
I mean, it does. It is. It's a good thing to have.
Would you have any final words or final thoughts?
No, I just, I hate that the city had a murder start off the year. It's mighty early, just a couple of days in.
Luckily, they've been arrested.
Yes. We were fortunate last year. Like I said, I don't like to say crimes down. Murders, I think we had 6 last year total. We have 5 arrests so far on those, working on the other one. And one thing I see, and I don't want to say my investigators are the best in the world because we're not. There's always somebody better out there. But the public trusts the county sheriff's department. They do.
Yes.
And it's the information that's out there. We're solving it on people's.
I don't trust you guys for
and that
shit.
means a lot to me. It does. We can't do it without the public's help. I mean, there's no way we can solve these crimes without the public's help. We only have 2 eyes. There's thousands of eyes out there. And,
Absolutely.
And people are tired.
Yeah.
People are sick and tired of their house getting shot into, their kids getting shot. They're tired of their cars getting shot into, and people are.
Now, I will say this: as much as I have watched the Alabama legislature, the Democrats have absolutely fought against any sort of rise in the punishment for someone who commits a crime with a gun. In other words, this person shoots into this or that, injures somebody in a dwelling. Democrats have typically been against sentencing enhancements for crimes with a gun. However, they will throw you under the fucking bus if you don't have your permit or your permission from the state. Chessboard, what's up, my brother? How you been? You gonna get tired of winning? Nope, I ain't gonna get tired of winning. Watching Kash Patel's confirmation, Tulsi Gabbard's confirmation hearings. Once they're actually in office, I got a sweet tooth to see what they do. Because I seriously want to see them go in there and kick ass.
People are starting to speak up. They're trusting us a lot more. And it takes time to do that. Once you lose trust in the department, not saying that the county has lost trust before, it's just that we have more trust than ever. That's Number one is that when somebody gives you information, you have to protect that person. You can't put that person out there. And now they see that we're going to protect them. If we have to move them somewhere, we put them in secret witness. We move them out of the county or what have you. We have to help with the feds to help us do that kind of stuff. And if you commit a crime with a gun in Dallas County, we prosecute $100
for 6 years.
We take it straight to Mobile. We have our federal courtdown now. We can start prosecuting them here.
Yeah.
And the reason why we do that is nothing against our system.
Hold on. We gotta look at this real fast. Our Blue State permit is $100 for 6 years, not including the initial training course fee, which is $350, and about a 4-month application permit. Oh, fuck that, man. How can that even be if people believe that the Supreme Court's going to save us after McDonald, after Heller 1, Heller 2, a couple other cases, and Bruin, how can something like that even be a fucking thing?
Our system here is just slow. The state system is slow, not just in Dallas County. It's slow statewide. And when I say slow, say for instance, if I indict somebody now, it may be 5 years before I go to court.
Right.
Under indictment. 90 days, a little less than 90 days is the federal system. If we indict you, you're in court. So, I mean, you can commit a crime, in January, in April or May, you're in jail if you're convicted. Wow. And their success rate is 90-something%. So if you're charged, you want to save money. A lot of people say, "Oh, we need to buy a bond. We need to buy this." guns are a big investment. They only go up. The price only goes up. You can make some money off some guns. But, you know, buy the right guns. You don't buy hunting guns. We don't need AR-15s out there that hold 150 rounds. Why does somebody need that? You don't need that.
I'll tell you why people need that, Sheriff, and there are multiple examples in states of gangs completely taking over apartment buildings, like in Colorado. You want to know why you need an AR-15? Because fucking criminals exist and governments do become tyrannical. That's why you need AR-15s. Live life. What's up, brother? This is right up your alley. This is the Dallas County Sheriff in Alabama explaining all the sheriff's position on constitutional carry. And I'll tell you what, I need to put it in the description, but if I forget, I'm going to throw this video in the chat. You guys can save it, go look at it, share it, whatever. And live life. If you want to watch this thing from scratch all the way through, there it is. But this is the Dallas County Sheriff basically explaining he doesn't give a jack shit about your constitutional rights, and they were all about the money when it comes from the permits. That's exactly what he's saying.
Need that. You don't need it. And often we do gun classes. We do at least 2 a year to teach people about guns and stuff.
Read my mind. I'm about to go there.
We do gun classes at least, and when it warms back up, we're going to announce one in the spring.
Oh, good.
And we do it a little different than other people. Not saying that other people are wrong. We keep our classes 10 to 12 people. Mm-hmm. The reason why we do that, we do a lot of one-on-one.
I got you.
We don't sit there and talk about where Smith & Wesson came from. Or
all right, yeah.
You want to learn about that gun.
And you want to bring your gun.
That's right. And you bring your gun and learn your gun. You want to learn how to load it, unload it. I don't care if it's a 22 or a 45. I mean, we're going to let you, or 44. We're going to let you shoot that gun as much as you want to shoot. And I'm going to tell you something. And at the end of the day, every class we've had except one, a female has won the competition at the end. We have a little friendly competition at the end. They win the door prize because they listen. You know, we know everything. We know everything on the gun. We're men. We're supposed to. So we know how to shoot the gun. When they listen, it's unbelievable how well they shoot. They're scared to death.
Pull that up in a second, Chess.
They are scared to death of it. But once they go through that class, it's unbelievable. I wouldn't want to shoot against them. They're that good.
It'd be fun for my wife and I to take the class together.
That would be
fun. She thinks she knows everything about guns too.
She probably outshoot you.
She probably would.
She's gonna listen. Don't we know everything?
But you know what? But it'd be good to know, so then I know how to adjust my behavior.
There you go. That's right. That's right. I might not want her to shoot.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
But anyway, it's a good class.
Yeah. When is it again?
We'll do it again in the spring.
Yeah.
We let the temperatures warm up a little bit, and we'll do it then. And it's fun. We out on the range now. We don't sit in the classroom, like I said, and talk about different guns. We talk about your gun.
And be ready to work.
And the main question I get every class is, number one, what's the best gun for me?
Mm-hmm.
And I always have to say this. And I said, look, I'm not trying to be a smart fanny or anything like that.
Alert.
But the best gun is the gun you can hit with, that you can actually hit your target with.
Well, he gets there in a second.
If you're 95 pounds, you don't need a big 44 mag. You're not going to hold it. So, I mean, and then they always say, and be honest with you, the best home defense gun is a shotgun.
There we go.
No questions asked. Is a shotgun. You're not. If you shoot a pistol or a rifle, one projectile's coming out, a little small projectile, piece of lead. You shoot a shotgun, depends on what kind of shot you got in there. Bullets are going everywhere. So that's the best home defense gun. And all you got to do is pull the trigger. Yeah. So.
Just fire shots in the air.
You know, some people are comfortable with revolvers. Some people are comfortable with semi-automatics like we carry. And the reason why now, my backup gun, I carry a revolver. A revolver is going to shoot when you pull the trigger.
Right.
No ifs, ands, and buts about it. It's less moving mechanisms. It's, you know, if something moves, the more stuff moves, the more it's going to break down.
Exactly.
When you have a malfunction on a semi-automatic, it is very easy to clear. Tap rack, right? Tap rack, maybe drop the mag. I got to get better at my freaking malfunction drills. I know I have to. If you have a malfunction on a revolver, it is typically a catastrophic malfunction where you're not going to get that gun back up in service without a gunsmith. And unless you have a gunsmith like a fucking caddy and you're playing golf and in the middle of a fucking gunfight, you can hand it over to your caddy to fix that shit, you're screwed. Dude, G23, I would like to do that, and maybe I will start reaching out to some of these sheriffs around Alabama. it ain't going to make me popular. Well, it might make me popular, but in a very bad way.
Exactly.
And these guns that we carry, semi-automatics, they would jam sometimes.
Yeah.
But law enforcement carries them because you have more capability of shooting. You have more rounds to shoot.
Right.
These things can hold, 15, 18 rounds, but it depends on what kind of magazine you have.
Yeah.
Per clip, where most revolvers hold 6.
Right.
So you give you more shots. That's why law enforcement carries those. But as far as
Why
a
would a
quality
civilian
gun
not need
and a good shooting gun is, and the safety of a gun is a revolver.
Mhm.
Is revolver. The trigger pull is a little hard for females sometimes with revolvers, but now they make revolvers now out of aluminum. They don't have the hammer sticking up and they get caught on your purse and all that.
They have, and some of them,
carry.
they have some hammerless
That's right.
revolvers.
Yeah, the hammer's not sticking up; it's
Yeah.
internal. So I mean, there's a gun out there for everybody. You don't have to have this big, huge caliber gun or anything.
Right.
So it is what it is. But open carry, it's either dang if you do, dang if you don't.
Right.
But for safety wise,
Matt, revolvers
keep your
fail
gun
more
concealed,
often than you
please,
think, brother.
keep your gun concealed. There's no need of walking across the bridge or walking downtown with a gun on your hip or a big rifle strapped to your back. You'll see motorcycles going through town sometimes with a gun, rifle strapped to their back. You don't have to do that to make yourself safe. The bad guys got guns. Yes, the bad guy most of the time is not going to get a permit. That's true. They're going to break into your car and steal the gun. But if you have that permit and stuff, we can find out once we do the trace. We have a database where we can find out where that gun originally came from. And we can call you. Hey, did you sell that gun? Was it in a burglary?
Okay, Sheriff, the only reason you are going to trace a gun, one, if someone reports that gun stolen, you have information from it. And two, if that gun is used in a crime, and then you can trace that back to the original purchaser because a 4473 has actually been filled out. All that goes out the window when criminals do what criminals do, and they destroy the serial number on the gun, and there is no serial number for you to trace. I will admit he makes a valid point here that someone who owns guns needs to keep track of all the serial numbers on their firearms. I believe that. Okay? I got a lot of shit that ain't serialized. They can fuck right on off on that. No, you know good and well, Live Life, man. These sheriffs are not going to restrict their officers to the things that they want to restrict you to. They're just not going to do that. Why? Because they're law enforcement. I don't give a fuck. I will guarantee you, even with my busted ass hand, I can shoot better than a lot of law enforcement out on the street right now, riding around in squad cars, carrying semi-automatics. And I'm not the best shot, but I guarantee you I can shoot better than them. I guarantee you I'm better on malfunctions than they are. I guarantee you I can clear corners better than they can. No. Valid point. I am a lot hobbly right now. Right leg is just about completely shot out. Right hand is on the mend. But I guarantee you I can do it. What the hell did I just hear? I'm sorry, it sounded like a damn tree coming down around the outside of the house. Hopefully it didn't hit my fucking house. Dude, I haven't even made a left-handed holster. This was bad when I initially had the surgery. Right now, still on the mend. Actually put on appendix today and made a couple draws. Works. So I didn't do, that's the reason I never did a video on it, because I never went through the process of going ahead and making a left-handed holster. As long as I keep the pad kind of limited on the palm, I can still get a good grip and still get a good presentation. And this, right after the surgery, was fucking, it was bad. It was thumping, but now seems like it's cool. So if I had to bust some stitches to shoot some motherfucker in the face and save my family or save my life, I'm going to chalk that shit up to the game.
You didn't have a serial number.
Right. So
another thing.
Your gun gets stolen, a permit will.
That's right.
Make
That's
two. I
right.
need
It
one
has a
also.
contact. Yeah. And a lot of people don't understand. Write your serial number down when you buy these guns.
Mhm.
If you report a burglary and your gun's stolen and you don't have a serial number, guess what? That gun's never going to be in the system as stolen. And then if you rob a bank, somebody breaks in your house, steals something, robs a store, bank, whatever, commits a crime with that gun, and they drop it. We run that serial number, it's coming back to the original owner.
Yeah.
And that's going to be you. You better have some type of documentation saying that you sold that gun, or you're going to be the prime suspect at the time until we can work things out. So, it's I encourage everybody to get it. Number one, if you travel, please get it, because if you get caught with
Again, what does any of that have to
you'll
do
be
with
charged in
constitutional
another
carry?
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you taking time with me. Let us know when you're doing the classes. We'll get those out so everybody will know.
Good deal.
And thank you so much.
No problem. Thank y'all. Appreciate what y'all do with Summer Sun. Appreciate y'all.
Thanks for joining us.
In Destin, and I just want to let everybody know out there watching, it's a great time to come down here and visit. We're not in a blizzard. There's no winter wonderland. It was a cute thing that had happened. People always remember, but that's not what you can expect when you come down. And so I know it's a lot colder in other parts of the country, and you're not going to find many better places to come than to come to Northwest Florida and spend some time.
Let me kill this.
So,
I was looking for another clip when that come up. But anyway, that be's the story from one of our sheriffs, and I guarantee you he's not the only sheriff that feels that way. So, yeah. All right, let me see. I'm going to open up the chat flow. And we might get into something else, but either way, we're going to hang out for a while. Shoot the breeze. Any guys that want to come in and talk about that horse shit you just heard, any of you guys are welcome to come in. Hell, it's the Blue Ridge Mafia. I still have to do a blue wrench. I've got a wrench I think I'm going to sandblast down and do it in that Northern Lights blue. Rich is still alive doing a tablet unboxing. I think he's starting to actually feel a little bit better. He's done a couple of random lives tonight or today. Let me see. I'm going to pin this at the top chat. Check that. I think that's good. So there are, and it's been the same gripe since so-called constitutional carry started in Alabama. Legislators and sheriffs who were bitching about the money that sheriffs lost when the requirement to have a permit to carry was basically repealed. And it's really, to me, it really is sad to see someone who is in law enforcement supposed to uphold the Constitution, and they will still enforce laws that say you have to have the government's position or permission to be able to carry your firearm for lawful purposes like self-defense. And I've had this thought plenty of times. I've talked about this before. Police officers, sheriffs ought to be absolute authorities on the Constitution. They should know it in and out. And the reason I say that is because they should be able to say, no, that is an unconstitutional law, and I am not going to enforce said law. Instead, what we see from law enforcement is they will enforce a law knowing that it's unconstitutional. They just don't give a shit. They're going to tell you, well, this is what the law is. They should be one of the first layers of protection against unconstitutional laws. The second layer of protection should be the judicial system that can look at the Constitution, look at laws, and go, oh shit, nope, we're not enforcing that. But we know how that goes because judges enforce unconstitutional shit all the time. There are plenty of people in prison today and plenty of people that will be in prison tomorrow over unconstitutional laws. Things where they have done no harm to another living person on this fucking planet. But the government is more than ready to put them in jail, sometimes for decades. The government is more than willing to lie their ass off about the facts of the case to put said person in prison. I don't. This stuff for the last few years, actually digging down into it, has left such a bad taste in my mouth. I used to be a huge supporter of law enforcement. Even after I was arrested, even after I went to fucking prison, I was a huge supporter of law enforcement. After looking at a lot of these things for the last few years, nope, fuck you. I will support you when you are doing something that is constitutional and you are getting violent people who prey on innocent people off the street, child molesters, rapists, murderers, all that shit. For the rest of it, you pull some dude over who fucking has his gun on him, you want to throw his ass in jail, charge him with all sorts of shit. No, I'm not going to support you. Fuck you and your thin blue line. Your thin blue line is really thick bullshit. What are you throwing out there, G? Which, hold on, let me get to, where'd Chess throw that link out? There it is. Let's see what Chess posted, and then we'll. Democratic governors criticize Chuck Schumer for weak resistance to Trump. Hold on, we'll skim through this real fast. Let me do a screen share. Screen share. Here it is. Yeah, well, we got some rain now. Just getting rolling. So the headline to this is in the Guardian. Democrat governors criticize Chuck Schumer for weak resistance to Trump. Let me get rid of that. Exchange between 6 governors and Senate minority leader exposes division in party over opposition approach. So Democratic leader, Senate reportedly criticized some of the exchange took place at a conference between Schumer, 6 Democrat governors, that laid bare the difference within the party over how to counteract a seemingly rampant Trump as he wreaks upheaval, I tell you, on the political landscape with an avalanche of executive orders. You know who put in an avalanche of executive orders? Joe fucking Biden. I hear these dipshits talk about that. The governor's led by, of course, it's Pritzker. Maybe it's because if Pritzker will fit through the door, all these other governors will fit through the door. They don't have to like play Jenga or anything to they just slide his fat ass on through and everybody else can follow. Maura Healey of Massachusetts, of course, she's involved in it, pleaded with Schumer to slow down the confirmation of Trump's cabinet by persuading fellow senators to vote against his nominees wherever possible. You mean like when these dipshit so-called Republicans voted against Pete Hegseth, and then the vice president had to come in for the first time and like for fucking ever to break that tie vote on a nomination. That's what we're talking about, right? J.B. Pritzker and Maura pleaded with Schumer to slow down confirmation of the cabinet whenever possible. They said the party needed to generate more public opposition than senators had managed in the chamber so far. Well, the reason they haven't been able to manage that in the chamber so far is because they are in the minority now. And much like when Democrats were in the minority, just shoving shit down our throats, now they're having to eat a little bit of their own medicine. Okay. The appeal came a week after Senate meeting confirmation of two of Trump's most contentious cabinet picks. Robert F. Kennedy for Health and Human Services, Tulsi Gabbard for Intelligence Director. Did any of you guys watch the Gabbard confirmation or watch the two? And I still got to watch the second one. The two hearings for Robert Kennedy. And let me chat. Come out, PLA. What's up, my brother? How are you doing these days, man? What is up? All right, we're throwing out links about gear and everything. Nice, nice, nice. Thank you, guys. Hey, while we're thinking about it, all you jackasses with blue wrenches that have your channels, put your channels out in chat. You know how we roll. I want all you guys throwing that shit out there. Yeah, well, I'll say this, Live Life. The majority, over 51% of the American people, don't know anything about common sense. Common sense does not even matter to them. There are a large portion of people in the United States, us, who represent people who believe in common sense and believe that laws ought to be just. So we don't support this Democrat agenda. We are a republic. We don't talk about America as a democracy because we were never meant to be a democracy. America was never supposed to be ruled by the mob. There was always supposed to be brakes put on that. So when you had 52% of dumbasses, they couldn't take the 48% of people who were actually educated on something. Shit. All right, let's scramble through this real fast. What did Chuck Schumer say? In response, Schumer said Democrats had damaged the political standing of the new Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth, during his hearings, in which he was narrowly confirmed, and of Kennedy in the opening day of his confirmation hearing. So look at it. They're worried about just damaging people. This is the political game these fuckers play. So he's worried about it. Schumer said Democrats had damaged the political standing of the new defense. The conference call followed a controversial memo from the Office of Management and Budget ordering a pause on trillions of dollars of federal funds used for vital spending programs. My ass. Gender studies in Turkey is not a vital spending program. It's just not. The order was rescinded on Wednesday, facing the fierce backlash that led to a court ruling stalling it. Do you, the average person, and I don't have a full grasp of it, has no idea the amount of money that our people, our representatives, whatever, throw up a bull's ass in countries for all sorts of horseshit that has nothing to do with the defense of our country. It has nothing to do with humanitarian aid. They will throw money at left-handed Eskimo albinos because someone in that system is getting a kickback from that money. And it is all about laundering money for these people. That is how you can get some jackass with the IQ of a fucking turnip. Hey, Hank Johnson, how you doing? I'm from Georgia. Who can get into Congress and then all of a sudden his network just keeps expanding and expanding and expanding and expanding. That's how you can have someone like AOC who has less than the brain cells of this Modelo bottle, even with it being 3/4 empty, and this chick's net worth is just exploding. And that's on paper. That ain't counting all the other shit they got. That's Bob Menendez. G23 on Fire Otter's only sub. Hold on, where's Fire Otter's channel? I gotta go sub him. Where's Fire Otter's channel? Fire Otter. Oh, that's one of my posts. Shit, where's Fire Otter's channel? I might have already subbed him. Run Gun. Let's see. Let me make sure I got Brother Run Gun. I'm pretty sure I did already. I know I got G. I know I got Chessboard. All right, there's Fire. Let's see. Run Gun. No, I'm not. How the fuck am I not subscribed to Run already? All. Let's grab my brother Fire. Subscribe. And all. There you go. I got you guys now. If you suddenly decide to start doing YouTube videos, we should be on there with you. So, yeah, this is just derangement again from Democrats. Hold on, let's see. After the meeting, Schumer's office issued a statement saying the memo's reversal was thanks to Democrats' work. Of course it is. Andy Beshear, Kentucky governor, told the meeting the Democrats needed to focus on Trump's desecration of American democracy. Where's my stupid hammer? Where's my stupid hammer? Where's so I'm gonna start calling this. This is my stupid hammer. I'm gonna have to start whacking myself in the head with this every time I hear stupid ass statements like this. Just try to just fucking knock the goddamn. I don't know. Maybe I can just develop a hard spot right there, and these thoughts can't even get past it. I don't know. Sure. Trump appeared more animated by the prospect of acquiring Greenland than on tracking or tackling high prices of other eggs and other groceries. You want to do something fun? Google how many chickens and other egg-laying birds have been slaughtered in the last couple of years due to bird flu. And then if you realize that if there are less birds, there are less eggs, which drives up the prices because that's a scarcity, then you'll see where the egg prices come from. It's going to be the same way with beef here in a little bit. As the egg laying birds go down, you will see more of the meat birds go down because there's a difference in between the two. And you're going to see those prices go up. But it's not due to a Trump policy or anything like that. This is entire herds or flocks, whatever you want to deal with these animals, getting slaughtered because of a flu. No doubt, Chess. They're supposed to work for the people. They're supposed to, but they don't. They don't give a shit about the people. The vast majority of these people who get up into the federal legislatures, either House or Senate, they see themselves as a ruler. They do not see themselves as a servant. Because here's the hard truth. If they were up there to represent the people like they should, then one of the things you've got to do when you represent people is tell them that they're wrong. And when people want something that is absolutely unconstitutional, then you have to tell them it's absolutely unconstitutional. The government can't do that. If you want to take a ham sandwich from every person on a Tuesday, the government can't do that. If I sign a contract with the government and I say the government has to give me a red apple every other month, and then they all of a sudden change the contract without me knowing about it and give me a kumquat, well, the government not supposed to be able to do that. That's why you negotiate over contracts. The Constitution is a legal document. The Constitution says very specific things. The government should not be able to do anything outside those restraints, because those are restraints on the government, not on us, the people. And anything not explicitly given to the government falls to the people. That's the way the shit was written. Still have 10K wild turkeys in your area? Fucking good deal, brother. Most of what got slaughtered in the last little while that I've read about, oh fuck, where's that store? I might have to look at it. There was a chick who raised chickens and raised exotic chickens, and she brought back some eggs from like Thailand or something like that. Hatched the eggs out, made those part of her flock. Everything was healthy, everything was well taken care of. She thought she did everything right to import these eggs that became chickens. Well, they're chicken eggs, so of course they're going to become chickens. You don't take an egg and you hatch a jackass. But anyway, the government finds out about it and they killed all of her birds. All. Even funnier, I have nothing that shows a chicken with bird flu unsafe for. Yeah, no. There's nothing that I've seen that says a chicken with bird flu is somehow unhealthy to produce eggs for people to eat or to be slaughtered for a person to eat. We have had exactly one death in the last, I don't know, a couple years from supposedly from bird flu. It's like a 60-something-year-old guy, more than likely with a bunch of comorbidities. We've had, I think, 66 people or 60-something people who have contracted bird flu. One dude has died. In a country of over 350 million people, 66 people contracting it, one person dying from it. You lose more people stepping on a roller skate on stairs every day. Every libtard come from an egg. But technically, you're right. But point being, a chicken egg will not produce a jackass. Now, human eggs, on the other hand, can produce, once fertilized, a human that later becomes an absolute jackass. So there's caveats to everything. All right, where was that? All right, that's where you posted Fire Otter's channel, Chessboard's channel, Run Gun. G, did you throw out another link you wanted to look at? If you did, I done lost it in the chat. And I'm sorry for that. All right, let's see. We pretty much. Oh, Tim Walls is in here too. Let's look back at this. So Trump appeared to be more animated. We read that. In fact, Schumer addressed the rising egg prices and the effects of bird flu, and challenged Trump to act in a Senate floor speech Monday. Fuck, don't make me go find that. Trump's, by the time the speech was done, Trump had only been in office for, if it was Monday, what, 7 days max? The shit with the bird flu and the killing off of flocks of birds has been going on for a couple years now. You want them to fix it in a couple days, even though you've been fucking it up for a couple years. Makes sense. Doesn't it? Fluffy! I think I got Fluffy, but let me make sure since you threw Fluffy out there. Pretty sure I had Fluffy. Da, 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 da. Fuck, how do I not have Fluff? All right, well, I got Fluff now. And he better actually be a goddamn fluffy bunny, otherwise I'm just going to be depressed. Think it's a product of their raising? It very well could be, brother. Blue curtain burner. Thank you, brother G. We'll get everybody. That way, if one of you guys decides to like crank a channel, we got you. We're here for you. But that's how I started mine, man. I started mine, and I've told the story plenty of times. I'd never been on live before. Got on with Crump, Dark. Damn, I can't remember who else was there that night offhand. But that's when I started mine. And it's I started my channel, which I'm still running off some old shit, but I started my channel with my phone and a pair of Lugs headphones that I was using for Xbox. Started up, man. I never thought my channel would last this long. I tend to be pretty opinionated. My opinion ain't all that favorable with those on the left side of the spectrum. Oh, come on, Blue. If you feel that way, you got to go public, man. Just watch the world burn as you go. That's all I've been doing. I never expected my channel to last a month. And now I get to hang out with you guys. So fucking run it, man. Even if you just run it off your phone, do stuff like Chessboard does, where maybe you're not on stream, but you produce videos that inform people and remind people about things. Dude, roll it. All right, let's get back to this. Tim Walz, Minnesota governor, thank God not a vice president right now, who's running mate of the defeated Democrat nominee, Kamala Harris, in November's election, said the party needed a higher television profile to project its governing alternative rather than simply complaining about Trump's actions. I miss those headphones. Well, Tim Walz, let me explain something to you, brother. The people that voted against you at jackasses saw how you wanted to manage things, and that's why Trump's in office again right now. It wasn't that we didn't know your policies. It wasn't that, oh, somehow we didn't understand your policies. No, this coming from someone. I didn't vote last year. I never expected Trump to win. Never expected Trump to win. But I damn sure didn't go pull the lever for a Democrat because I understand how you guys rule. And no way I am putting my stamp of approval when I vote for it. My stamp of approval on your fucking little tyrant asses. Ain't happening. Sauce Horny, my 3 videos are crushing it. Oh, what the hell, PLA? And by the way, PLA, if you do have a channel, throw it out there. Hold on, G did. And man, there's some of you guys' channel I should be subbed to, and it looks like I'm not. Yep, PLA is another one. How have I not been subbed to you guys' channels already? I try to roll back through anybody who subscribes to me and grab their channels. So a lot of you guys just aren't letting people know who you sub to. That's what it is. You dirty dogs, you. Hold on. What did Fluffy say that Chess is responding to? Fluffy Bunny Arsenal. Oh, Jesus Christ. Work computer. That's not. Oh, fuck. I'm on the wrong damn screen. That's why. Fluffy Bunny Arsenal, and that's exactly why Leo are exempted from the same laws the controllers bear upon we, the people, for a paycheck. Yeah. Pretty much in every one of these gun laws we see, there's always a carve out for military in the process of in commission of their duty and law enforcement in the commission of their duty. That exception's always there to all these gun laws. That's why cops can run around with M4s and you can't. And that's not the way this shit was ever supposed to work. The people were never supposed to be subjugated by the government in our system. And that's exactly where we are at right now. You could pull all the TVs off your walls, not a soul would notice for weeks. I feel that. Let's see, where are we at? We're talking about Kansas governor called for a down and dirty digital strategy to cope with social media outreach of Trump and his supporters. Schumer responded by praising the work of Crazy Eyes Cory Booker, the New Jersey senator who was in charge of Senate Democrat social media strategy. Yeah, good pick there, buddy. Haley also lamented on the state governors were bearing the brunt of constituents' complaints about the effect of Trump's policies in leading the Democrat pushback, as reflected in the case files by the state attorneys general against the attempt to cancel birthright citizenship and freeze on federal grants. Okay. Birthright citizenship was never supposed to be that anybody born on American soil is an American. It was never supposed to be that way. Birthright citizenship, as it was written, basically applied to slaves and families of slaves that were in the United States when they were freed. Then they became American citizens. The people that wrote the amendment actually explained everything. The intent, and I always hate that term intent of the law, was explained. It was never supposed to be, hey, jump on a plane when you're 9 months pregnant, fly to the United States, drop a kid as soon as you hit the airport, and all of a sudden, poof, you're an American. It was never supposed to be that way. But that's the way it's treated now. That is literally why we have the term anchor baby. All right, what is 325? I'll tell you guys. 325. What do you guys want to do? You guys want to sit around, shoot the shit, leave an open floor, or do you want to sit around, shoot the shit, leave an open floor, and roll through one of the hearings that happened this week, so that we can pull our hair out and see how insane Democrats are, which we already know. Anyway, give me just a sec. I'll be right back. So I got wrapped up just a little bit longer. Colt, pretty damn sure I got Colt's channel. Matter of fact, I know for sure I got Colt's channel. Yes, I got Colt's channel, 100%. We are there. All right. I was pretty damn sure I did. So I'll tell you what, because I kind of want to keep this one just on the sheriffs. I'm going to shut this one down here. And I haven't watched Tulsi's hearing yet. So we'll either do Tulsi or we'll do the second hearing from RFK, because I haven't watched that one yet. And we'll crank up a whole nother chat, hang out, and so I got a while for the wife and kiddos to get home. So we'll hang out for a bit longer. But I am going to shut this one down. I'm going to crank another one up right after this, as soon as I can pull a couple tabs and shoot it over. So you perps be cool. Keep that thing on you at all times. By that thing, I mean that thing. You are are you ambidextrous? I can shoot right and left-handed. I can weld right and left-handed. I cannot write left-handed. Don't expect me to sign anything left-handed, because it looks like a fucking toddler did that shit. So anyway, we're gonna crank another one up, because I want to keep this one about the sheriffs. And I don't know, maybe I will reach out to some of these guys, try to do a little bit of interview and get a better feel for them. So we will see you guys in just a little bit. Beaver Firearms, you're late. We're fixing to crank it. I'm going to kill this one, Beaver, because I'm going to start another stream up after this, because I wanted to keep this one about the sheriffs, is what I was just talking about. Baseball or golf? Neither. Now, baseball can be fun when someone leaves the mound and then they get in there and start rolling, and they empty the benches out. And the only time I would watch golf, what's his freaking name? Heavy dude, just drinks like a fish. Is the one who beat fucking Tiger Woods when he was drunk the next morning? Hangs out with Kid Rock. I can't remember his name offhand. That would be the only time I would watch golf. Delay, yeah, that might be him, yeah. And PA, if your honeybees are sick, they burn the hives. Gee, oh man. There was a story, I don't think it was in the States. I think it might have been New Zealand or something. They made a family burn. It might have been like 100 and something hives. They had a huge setup for collecting honey and doing all sorts of stuff with it. And yeah, they made them burn all their hives. Waka, 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 wrong answer. All right, Fozzie Bear. All right, we'll see you guys in just a minute. I'm going to kill this one and we'll crank another one up, because I'm going to watch it anyway, so I might as well do it with you guys. Later, perps.